Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Kevin Jarena, and we are live Monday night, 7 o'clock. Let me say hello, checking in. I got my trusty glasses here from Raw Optics. I'm so thankful for them, to be honest. Saved my eyes today and many days. I don't know about you, but many of us out there are getting, Zoom burnout, screen time burnout. I don't know about you, but it definitely affects my eyes, like literally physical pain. And that's actually how I ended up reaching out to a friend of mine, a group of friends of mine, to say, hey, look, who's got the best glasses on the market? Boom, Raw Optics. And so I'm going to show you a little bit about them today when I go in just a second here. But let me check in with you. Hopefully you're doing great. Happy New Year. If I haven't seen you, I am, it's 2021. It's like we are in the future. That is the truth here. So let me pull up the chat. Let me say hello. Can you hear me? I love, number one, I love making sure that my audio is coming through loud and clear. Number two, I love finding out where people are watching in the world. So comment back and let me know where you are in the world. And if I can hear you, that is always fun for me. Can you hear me? I'm putting in the chat right there. So if so, I'm just going to continue anyway as normal. I want to say thank you to my sponsors. These are products that I use personally, and I have some of them for many, many years. So let me pull that up real quick, say hello. This is drkeving.com. You see it scrolling right there in the bottom. And this is where you go to pretty much get access to everything. And thank you, Jess, for saying that you can hear me. drkeving.com, and you go over to the shop section right there. You click on that. And you get a couple cool things I'm going to pull up for you right here. Number one, like I said, I'm pointing at it right here, Raw Optics. I'm going to give you a highlight on that real quick right now. And let's pull that up. So you go into the shop, you click on the link there, and look, they still have a special going, a 2-for-1 bundle actually. Quite a deal. And Raw Optics is quite amazing. They have all kinds of information, it's scientifically backed, very, very, very effective. And it came referred to me from another well-known doctor in the holistic health field. So that being said, I personally, I've been using them each and every day. Now, that also being said, I was just using, I have it right here actually, I was just using the voice analysis to balance some emotions that I had going on. And you're looking at what's called the AO scan unit right there. And you can see my findings. Where is it here? There it is. On my voice analysis, I had a few bars that were too low, a few bars too high, and it helps put in the right binaural beat tone and frequencies to help balance my life, balance my mind. In fact, what we're talking about today is you are energy, and talk about protecting the eyes with false and artificial and synthetic light sources, as well as other frequencies to help balance the oneself. It's again, like I said, these are products I personally use because this is the work I've studied and dove into over the years. In fact, it's some of the foundational work I wrote about in the book Decode Your Pain, which is what the transformation show is all about. Is how to use your pain for your personal power, because pain is not what it is that you've been led to believe that it is. It's important. There's a purpose for it. It's to wake you up to something that's happening below the radar. Now, let me go back, take a look here at the page. And so these are of course things I like to share, and I share with all my patients. And my patients actually some free trials with the AO scan. Quite some amazing feedback. But water purification, critical. Keeping your mind positive and keeping your mind right, critical. These are all things I've used and I share. And then I made up my own affirmations using my own voice to share with others. And because, it's hard to be creative sometimes. Sometimes we've got a lot of things going on. Hey, Angela, thanks for tuning in. And so that's what I got going on in the shop. Different things about vision, about service. And then you can actually purchase the whole series at a discount. So tonight, transformation, what we are talking about tonight is that you are energy. Page 49 in the book is where we'll be tuning in tonight. Let me pull it up for you, and we're going to dive into a little bit of the text and some images. So here we are. Decode Your Pain. This is actually, if you want a free version of an introduction to this book, go to the link below, either drkeving.com or Dr. Kevin Transformations. It's the abbreviation for DR. I'm looking to pull up. Yeah, there I am. Abbreviation for Dr. DR Kevin Transformations.com or drkeving.com will get you to the book, get you to the free introduction. It's a nice PDF, well produced. I want to thank the Wavemakers for that one and Big Marv. And so let's dive into the chapter. First, I like to start with images because, well, pictures speak 1,000 words is the quote, maybe a lot more. However, this top image that I have for you here is something that's reading brain waves. And then this, oh, I went too fast, too far. Excuse me. Back to page 50 here. And the second image below is someone getting a heart reading, an electrical measurement of the heartbeat and the heart waves. EKG, ECG. An electroencephalogram, electrocardiogram. I believe that's the proper terms. And of course, we have newer technologies here. I'll pull up a few different things, some images. Let's go. Oh, of course, we have the MRI. Now, it didn't give me. I didn't pull up an image. Let's find an image for you. But MRI machines using magnetics to give an image of the body. And of course, let's go to the image here for the EKG. Take a look at different. Look at heart waves. What else do we have? Nerve conduction tests. This is where they measure the ability of the nerves to send and receive messages. And that's an image. That was an image. Let's pull it back up. That's an image of water. H2O. You see one oxygen has a negative charge, and you have two hydrogen molecules that have positive charges. What happens when negative meets a positive with a magnet? Well, they stick together. Ladies and gentlemen, you are energy. In fact, the system that produces energy, the Krebs cycle, uses something called ATP. This is the chemical signal for ATP. Now, this is way beyond what we're going to be talking about today. This is not for our discussion. This is not what I show every day. But however, I wanted to show a more complicated image than just a water molecule. And this is the molecule that gives you energy for the individual cell. And you have 100 trillion cells, plus or minus, that all working in concert, hopefully working in concert, to produce a wonderful life experience. And when they're not working in harmony, when they're not working in concert, well, that is when we have symptoms. We have illness. We have dis-ease. And this is a state of adaptation. A state meaning, what is a state? Let's define that word real quick. Define state of being. Okay. Let's pull it up for everybody. State of being is an overall condition of a person. Now, the state of mind, okay, that would be a state of mind right there, mental condition. A physical state, a state of being, okay? So we don't need to look at that right there. So your state of being is being relayed to you via your pain. And there's messages in your pain. And that's what the book Decode Your Pain is all about, is learning to decode, learning the metaphors, learning the symbolism of what the pain is. Now, with that being said, yes, there's standard discussion. If it's sharp pain, if it's dull pain, if it's achy pain, all that description will be able to inform the practitioner, the doctor, the healer, what sort of tissue is generating the pain. However, upon X-ray studies and MRI studies, someone could have tissue degeneration, breakdown, bone degeneration, arthritis in the spine, osteoporosis, things like this, osteoarthritis. However, that does not mean that pain is going to be present. And just the opposite as well. Someone could have a perfect X-ray or a perfect MRI of an area, and yet they're having pain in that area. So just because there's tissue breakdown or not does not determine if somebody has physical pain or not. Now, I've been talking about the last couple of weeks about it's the brain's decision to produce pain in your body to alert you to something. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a story. And this is a small story. I was in the Cub Scouts in the beginnings of the Boy Scouts years ago, and we would do a lot of hiking, camping, a fair amount of hiking, a fair amount of camping, nothing crazy. And with that being said, I remember we're going out, walking up the edge of a stream or something, and I had grabbed some things to lift myself up to the ledge to go to the next place. following the group, and I had obviously grabbed something. Well, with that being said, so just going up, and a few moments later, I looked down on my hand, and there was blood pouring out of my palm of my hand. And that moment that I visually saw it is when the pain came on. The pain didn't happen beforehand. Just a few moments ago, where I had grabbed something that had cut my hand, where I obviously grabbed a number of things to pull me as leverage to pull me up. But then, only upon looking did pain arrive. So that was one of my first experiences where the injury and the timing of the pain didn't equate. Now later on in life, this was 2013, I had made a big decision to close my business that I owned and move out of the country and live in another place. And I had tremendous, about a month before I left, I had tremendous right shoulder pain. Now, at the time, I didn't fully grasp the nature of it, but only upon reflection. Now here's the story. So I was getting chiropractic adjusted, I was getting Reiki sessions done, I was getting massage done, all to handle the physical pain that was happening in my shoulder, because I figured, well, and this is what I knew, people would get better with this type of care. Happens over and over and over again. However, there was a missing factor, and I wasn't addressing the mental component. And the pain 100% disappeared on the third day after I arrived in my destination, which is where I lived in Bangkok, Thailand for about 2 years. Just about 2 years, a little bit under that. So that was my second major kick in the pants of, wait a minute, I didn't have an injury, I didn't have an issue the second time around. Pain came on out of nowhere, yet pain went away out of nowhere. Very intriguing. So I began to dive in with very deep earnesty. And this is what produced, this is the steps that produced the book, Decode Your Pain. Now there's a lot of other stories before that moment, before some of those moments in 2010, 11, and 12, and after the fact as I continued studies that brought a lot of information together. However, it was that itself. So let's dive in here. We'll go to page 49 where I wanted to read and share with you today. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, I want to say welcome. You've gotten value here before. Give a thumbs up. Make a comment. This allows the algorithm to spread and more people can connect and hear this information. In fact, if you're looking, if you know a friend or a family member that is interested in holistic health, that wants to, that you know is interested in Reiki or is interested in laws of attraction or thinking positively, positive mental attitude, PMA, this would be a perfect share for them. They can start to dive in and dissect the things that I've written about, things I've spoken about, and literally for more than 2 years, once a week I go live at a minimum. In fact, I'm going live tonight at 8 o'clock in a webinar, Winning in Every Situation. This is where we discuss the laws of success and how to, in fact, the work at Decode Your Pain is a piece of what we discuss in the laws of success, the Winning in Every Situation. And we also dive into some healing techniques for the Becoming Human Healing component. And that being said, we are energy. And let's dive into the reading. Now that you have this perspective, okay, so I'm going to start with this. With this perspective of our bodies, we can see how we are made up of energy more than being up a solid makeup. Now, if you've ever heard that space is more empty than it is full of matter, well, the human body is the same way. You look at atoms, you look at the atomic structure and the subatomic particles, as we're told, and there's more emptiness in this space than there is physical matter. I mean, it's like a ridiculous percentage, like the 90 percentile of empty space compared to physical matter. So when we look at the impact of energy and charge on our bodies, for example, if we're wearing socks and drag our feet across a carpet, a dry environment, and then touch a metal doorknob, there'll be a shock. This happens because we become electrically charged and electricity wants to release and pass through us in the doorknob. Well, pain is the same way. Something has built up a charge. The charge is built up enough that it causes a disturbance of the normal function in a specific body area. When that normal function of that specific area is disrupted long enough, then the body must go beyond its normal means because the body can't handle it by itself. Therefore, a pain or a symptom now becomes expressed to alert your conscious mind, the part of you that takes action based on your own thoughts, based on your own discomforts, based on your desires for greater joy, greater happiness, that pursuit of that happiness. When that pain is bad enough, that's when the symptom arises. I mean, think about it for a second. Think about a heart attack. Think about cancer diagnosis. There were problems, in some cases, years or even decades prior, leading up to an event that now we can claim a diagnosable illness. That's right. And that's when the mainstream system kicks in and we start medicating ourselves, we start doing surgeries, we start doing procedures that frankly, leave us in a worst case scenario overall in health. Quality of life goes down. Now, in some instances, some procedures, it's exactly needed. Just like, look, if I get into a bad car accident, I break a lot of bones, take me to the hospital, do what you need to do to get me better. But perhaps just keep me alive. But if I want to restore wellness, if I want to restore optimal functioning, if I want to restore or enhance quality of life, there's certain things that I have to step out of the mainstream community for sure. In fact, once I'll hold with that. If you want to have a private conversation, or you want me to dive in more truthfully with that, or more openly, well, you have to connect with me off of social media. That's the nature of today's world, ladies and gentlemen. That's a sad state. However, we can make that change by claiming your voice, making that heard. Speaking with your votes, speaking with your dollars. So let's continue. I wanted to give you some foundation of where this knowledge comes from. There is literal scientific evidence. Some people are like, Doc, I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard this before. Well, I've studied things differently than you have. That's all that it means. And then we're ready for an update. We're ready for an upgrade. So I'm going to introduce you, and I've mentioned her quite a bit over the years, Candace Pidgeon. Now, if you don't know who she is, an amazing individual who has now passed, yes. She wrote a phenomenal book called The Molecules of Emotion. Right here. She is the one who discovered the opioid receptor. She discovered so many things. In fact, because of her discoveries, a new branch of science was created back, I want to say, late 80s, early 90s. I was really introduced to that science early into 2000s when I was in my doctorate program. And it just goes on and on and on. But she literally has the publications over, I looked up the total number, 250? Yeah, 252 publications in some of them the most respected journals that Western science has to offer. I want to go through so many of these studies. I'm pausing. So let me go back here, bring myself back into alignment. And so what we're knowing is that the mind and the body is communicating and is one. Communicating within the nervous system, it's communicating with the hormonal system, it's communicating with the immune system, it's communicating in all kinds of other levels. In fact, there's wonderful studies, not by Candace Pidgeon, but other people, that talk about communication happening like, in addition to those normal routes that you've heard about, but also like tuning forks. I'm typing this in right now. And I'll show you. You ever see glass break from an opera singer? Type that, see what kind of pictures we get with that. Oh yeah. Here we are. Well, even music, I'm sure musical instruments could do it. But yes, even tuning forks can do things like this, right? So if you hold two tuning forks together, you ring one, the other one will start ringing. Has to do with what's called resonance. And this phenomena, this is I don't know if it's exactly resonance, but think about a song that you hear that takes you back 30 years, 20 years. I mean, it takes you back. I mean, you can remember the people, you can remember what you were wearing, you can remember the event, you can remember details, and maybe you haven't told a story for 10 or 15 years, but yet that one song, that one smell, that one statement can take you way back. In fact, that's what PTSD is. Essentially, they're stuck in a negative loop, and a benign situation in someone's environment triggers them to be active in that horrific issue. So that being said, we're still discovering what it is to be a human being. We are still discovering, or maybe we're being let known little tidbits of information year after year. But however, we are still discovering different ways in which the body works. In fact, this year, 2020 last year, and the year before, 2019, each of those years, there was a new discovery of a new organ in the human body that was not considered before. We're still discovering things. Let's not get it twisted that we think we know everything about the human body, and everything that we do in a mainstream science way is accurate or healthful. Let's keep it simple. Keep this stream flowing. Don't want to have any interruptions. But again, if you want to have a more open, direct conversation, you join me for one of the webinars that are off the social medias, or you contact me directly. So let me, I'm going to read a comment real quick. A musician, sympathetic vibration is what we call when one object vibrating affects another. Thank you, Angela, for that definition. Sympathetic vibration. Think about being sympathetic with another human. You feel their emotions. In fact, some people, you can look at another person without even talking to them, and you can feel the kind of day they're having. Those people may be called empaths. You may be just a good listener. People trust you to relay information to, and by all means, these are human phenomena that we're tapping into more and more. Yes, we are all one, and we connect in different ways that may not be being talked about in mass public. And just like anything, there's a certain group of people that adopt the knowledge early on. They're in on the discovery, they're in on the breakthrough, they're in on the conversation. Then it takes time to trickle out to the general public. It takes even longer time to be considered normal and a truthful fact. It may be 50, 60, 70 years from some discoveries that then finally make it into the textbooks. And yet we're operating on old knowledge in many ways. That is very true in our healthcare world. All right, back to the book. The human body responds significantly to the electromagnetic field. We see this in medicine. That's where I talk about the MRI, the EKG, the ECG. And what I've been talking about personally, and I haven't shown any evidence on my stream at this point yet, however, there is we are of course affected by the sun. We are of course affected by the moon. What about the other planets? Just a few days ago, in fact, all the hubbub in the news on the 20th of December was about the sky clock, how the position of the planets were aligning in different ways. And it was a special event that hadn't happened in hundreds of years. And that's all we heard. I don't know if anybody else, as far as the average person, heard much beyond that. But I know many of the people that I tap into for deeper understanding were going on and on about how it affects consciousness, how life events are timed in relationship to these different patterns unfolding. In fact, space.com, this is February last year. The Big Dipper is more than just a star pattern. It's a compass, it's a clock, it's a calendar, it's a ruler all rolled up into one. Ladies and gentlemen, our reality is much more than we've been told. And there's ways to determine where we are in the universe. And that, I'm going to give a shout out to CRROW777, Crow777.com. And he dives deep into this topic. What a wonderful interviewer he is. He has a wonderful podcast I absolutely love. I'm a member of his webpage, and well, he can't really speak freely on many of the social medias. So the human body is energy. We see these type of things. I am showing images of what's called the central meridian. Sorry about that little, I don't know why that's showing up in the slide there, the 1050. Maybe I have too many things open at once. But here we are. Different muscles, spinal segments, all connect with what's called meridians. And each meridian, like for this one is the spleen. Oops, sorry about that. This one's the spleen. And you can see that that runs right here from the inside of the underarm by the rib cage up to the underarm, right down the center of the body, and it goes down to the foot, I believe. Here it is, right to one of the toes. I think it's the inside of the large toe, perhaps the second toe. I have a poster in my office. I study this on a regular basis. There's a lot of material in here, and these lines are all over the human body. Something got moved over somehow. I'll just fix that right now. We're live. How about that? So that being said, the human body has energy systems deep inside, known as the central nervous system, has energy systems that move and sense and detect things around on the acupuncture system. There's other channels and communication networks within the body and around the body. There's the non-physical layer of the human anatomy, chakras and aura, and we see different wave patterns and things like this that are being studied and measured and photographed. It's wonderful. The human body is energy, and our physical pain are indicators from the subconscious component of our life, the automatic aspects of our body, of our mind, that are informing us. And when we're feeling something, it's a call to dive in deeper. And I go into those practices, I go into those descriptions, some of them in the free gift, an introduction to Decode Your Pain, a little bit deeper in the full book, Decode Your Pain, which you can get for under $10. Basically, you can feed your body, your mind for life, for these concepts that are contained in the book for the rest of your life, to bring you greater awareness of you, yourself. This is what it's all about. Know thyself. I took this very much to heart when I was in my doctorate program. Physician, know thyself. And that has spawned me to drive farther and farther and farther than many of my colleagues about the nature of what it is to be human, what the nature is of the mind, what the nature is of the energetic anatomy, and beyond. Because, well, physician know thyself. I kept finding new things for me to work on, and I kept going to more classes and more workshops and webinars and seminars and because I wanted to help each of my patients. Because I was frustrated with, at first, getting less than 50% of my patients better. And as I began to incorporate other things, yes, detoxification and nutrition, and boy, that's a big game of conversation. It's not just take your annual vitamin C. I promise you that. And then the mental emotional world, boy, that really opened up things. And I got into the energetic world, Reiki and quantum healing and reconnective healing and all different forms and all kinds of wonderful things. Many people have done and experienced much of this, learning more and more, and there's pitfalls in each of those things, and there's advances and wonderfulness in each of those things, and beginning to learn those ropes is what our responsibility is as a human being. And if we give up our responsibility, we give up our freedoms, we give up our many things. I mean, and when I say freedoms, I just mean, even knowing when we need to go somewhere. Being told what to do for every step of the way is not the way to live life, in my opinion. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but if I am, well, that's okay. So where are we here? I was getting into Candace Pidgeon. I was getting into Decoding Your Pain. And what I want to show, this is one of the best things I love about the book I put together, is the end of the book. This is included in the free gift when you go to drkevintransformations.com or drkeving.com. But it is in the appendix. And I bring together not the total comprehensive list, but a nice general starter. The body part, the motion/feeling it goes with, and the possible symbolism. Now, I pull slides from a book called, it's over here, but it's called Touch for Health. It's a public version of Applied Kinesiology, which is the professional version of the Western analysis of the acupuncture meridian system, how to work with the muscles, the bones, the ligaments, the thoughts, many other things. When we look at these charts, we can see where we have a symptom in our life, the emotion or feeling that's tied to it, typically, and then the possible symbolism. And sometimes this doesn't add up right away. Sometimes some questioning, some thinking, and some contemplation really helps out. But from our elbows, our wrists, your hands, your toes, your hips, your knees, but even your organs, of course, your stomach, your spleen, your liver, your kidney, your lungs, your pancreas. Every part of your body has a connection to a metaphor, to a area of the brain. So number one, there's the concept, the metaphor. Two, physically, there's an area of the brain that's directly next to the physical body part and the emotional self. They're laid next to each other. I do have a description in the book with that as well. And what else do I have for you tonight? Well, with that being said, I am now getting ready to go into the next phase, which is called Winning in Every Situation, which starts in a half hour. If you do want access to that, where we take the concepts here. Oh, excuse me if you're seeing a couple things online. I want to drop the registration link. You can join in right now and get access right now. It's a gift. It's open access. And here it is. There's the chat. To join in. 3 keys turn pain into power, and we go over what's called energetic remapping, we go over reality renovation, and we go over achievement alignment. Now, of course, there's a lot of details on a lot of topics. In fact, to go over reality renovation, it takes 16 weeks. Tonight, we're starting week 1 of 16 in the discussion of winning in every situation and the laws of success, and to go through enough of the material to give everybody the foundational knowledge. Takes 16 weeks. And each of these conversations are between 30 to 60 minutes, closer to 45 to 60 minutes typically. Myself, Coach Ryan, and we have 7 other coaches that can tune in when they want to contribute, each an area of expertise on their own, contributing in a mastermind fashion to bring about an understanding of how to bring whatever you're wanting and desiring, perhaps needing, into your life. There are known laws of success. We go into sharing those. So I invite you to join in with that. Click on that link right there. It'll bring you to the registration page. You can hop right on. I hope you got some value in tonight's conversation about we are energy, the human body, from the atomic and subatomic level to the large whole level. We are connected and integrated. And just like the human body, we have 100 trillion cells in there. They're all working in concert. Some are working well, some are needing help, some are in between. Yet it's one unit, it's one system that's constantly adapting, it's constantly making choices, constantly making decisions. Some of them you know about, some of them you don't. The body is an amazing, beautiful thing. And I hope to have you tap into more its own power so that, yes, you can help yourself heal, you can help those around you heal, and also, not just a yet, but also live the vision that you are wanting to create, because when you do, it helps everyone rise around you. That's the principle I live by, is I rise by raising others. So thank you for tuning in. Ask a question that opens up the algorithm and let more people know that there's good information here. And like I said, share it with someone that you know is interested in Reiki and yoga and conscious living and organic eating, energy, the laws of attraction. These are the kind of things that I can help people gain better grasp on and fill in the holes and make it well-rounded. And because when we contribute to one another, we each become the teacher and we each become the student. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin. I will see you next Monday night at 7 o'clock with the Transformation Show. Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin. This is the first introductory video in becoming your own healer.